smash those like and subscribe buttons for more content. Thank you. All right. So I guess let's get started. And to start off, we need to talk about last week where you did really well. You went 11. Oh, so I ran off my spreadsheet. You went 11-5. You missed out on the Saints, the Browns, the Lions, the Ravens, and the Texans. So best week ever predicting picks. Good job. And
Yeah.
that's all we should talk about. So, because
Thanks.
Warty missed the first 6 games, and then ended up 6-10. So I couldn't pick anybody. In fact, if you'd not gotten crazy and went for the Texans over the Chargers, you would have did even better. So, but you did hit on the Jet pick barely. So
Jets.
yeah, congratulations. Although I did hit on the Trubisky last game 4 games way back in week one. So I'm gonna go ahead and take credit on that one.
Oh shit, he done, right?
Yeah, he's done. So, gonna have to mix it up a little bit. I'm gonna go on for yards, both yards given up and yards created as my new picking barometer. So,
Oh, there you
obviously
go.
the this team has pretty colors isn't working, so I'm going to a new strategy. We'll see how that works.
So pretty colors is out. I see.
Pretty colors is out.
I'm gonna I'm gonna go which team has like the most unique last name, dude. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, gotcha. All right, so our first team that we have, the Thursday night game, which, by the way, for those of you setting your football lineups, it's very important to remember that on Sunday there will be an early London game from now on. So when you woke up and you're like, why can't I play this guy? That's what happened. Um, so our Thursday game though is the Colts at the Broncos.
Well, I remember at the beginning somebody said that
The
the Colts
best
were going to be
team,
the Super Bowl champions.
yes. I wonder who that guy was.
Well, I don't know, but that guy was pretty freaking dumb. The first one didn't count, so now the whole show. Remember what was the bet that I would do it without one?
Yeah, you sure? Are you at one?
No, I'm not, I don't have one.
Okay.
I said freaking does not count.
Okay. Good
Freaking is
job.
the vanilla.
Good job. Yeah.
All right, we're good. So the Colts, yeah, they're not Super Bowl champions. They're not looking great. Jonathan Taylor, I don't know what's up with that guy. He's just not running like he should be. I'm not extremely impressed with the Colts at all. But on the flip side of that, I'm not extremely impressed with the Denver Broncos either. And they just lost their starting running back. They're left with Melvin Gordon, Mister I'm gonna fumble every game of the season. So yeah, neither team is looking really great here, to be honest. Um, Man, if I had to say fantasy relevance, I mean, Jesus Christ, neither team looks really good here either. I mean, you have Jonathan Taylor, but he's is he even gonna play? I heard he was. Isn't he banged up a little bit?
He just
Something was
hasn't
up
been
with him.
effective at. I mean, at the very. Let's say he does play and he's 100%. He hasn't been very effective in the games he has been 100%. So, um, but
But
do you think he's a little bit like the Titans running back Henry? I mean, where he just he does this thing where it takes him a few games to get going. Do you think it's that, or do you think it's just? I mean, you don't go from being superstar to nothing overnight like that. I mean, he's not. It's not like he's hitting 30 or something like that.
no, bro. But look, quarterbacks, their wearage, if you want to say, the more they get hit, the faster they age. You get what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
not everybody can be like what's his name from San Francisco. Oh my God, I'm losing his name again. That's why we need Mr. Statistician here. But
Is it
uh,
Garoppolo? Is it
no, Frank Gore.
oh, gotcha.
Not everybody could be a Gore and last forever,
Yeah.
right? As a running back position, that's a beating. A running back takes a beating and a beating and a beating and a beating. I think that running backs like Henry and Taylor, man, the beatings are catching up. I mean, are they still good, good running backs? Yes, don't get me wrong, but I think that the more they get hit, the longer it takes to recover. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
The more years they're taking beatings. So maybe that's why they start off a little slower, whatnot, and what so. But man, the running back position takes a hard beating every year. So without Taylor, the only thing you want to look at here is quarterback and receivers on both these teams. And Matty Rye is 1,100 yards, which is great, but 5 TDs, 5 picks. It's crazy. On the flip side, Wilson's 900 yards, 4 TDs, 1 pick, which I expected worse, so I guess. But 4 TDs in 4 weeks? That's horrible, bro. Think about that. That's not your premier quarterback stats. And they lost Williams. They're left with Gordon. However, they do have better receivers than Sutton and Judy. Uh, it's not really tough one for me, man. I'm going to say Denver Broncos on this one.
Gotcha.
I don't want to go on and on it, so.
No, it makes sense. So let's.
What are you going with?
In the yards total, we've got the Broncos are averaging 335.8 yards. Where you've got our good friends the Colts averaging 339.
I don't know whose good friends they are.
So the Colts are a smidge better in the yardage on offense. On defense, we've got Denver gives up only 284 yards per game, which is way better by 10 yards than the Broncos or the Colts. Oh no, a little more. So the Colts give up 297. So they both have good defenses. They both have the ability to move the ball in the middle of the pack. And now it comes back down to which quarterback. Oh man.
And just an FYI update: Taylor is not playing. He's been ruled out for Thursday.
You know what? I hate the Colts, but I'm going with them because I still think they're gonna bounce back, and I think they're better than the Broncos. So, that's what I'm saying.
Well, I mean, the Broncos, Randy Gregory is apparently hurt too, which hurts the pass rush, but nah, I'm sticking with the Denver Broncos.
You can't jump off the bandwagon after 5 weeks.
Sure you can.
just hurdle off of it.
Have you ever met a Cleveland fan?
Oh, they're off the bandwagon in the preseason though. That doesn't even count.
Yeah.
All right, so the Giants and the Packers.
The Giants and the Packers. Well, Aaron Rodgers versus whatever that guy's name in New York.
Jones.
Jones or that guy. Come on now. I mean, is that really even a competition? Like the Giants. Look, Cooper Rush beat him, bro. You really think they're going to stop Aaron Rodgers? Come on now. That's not going to happen. Defensively, both teams, I mean, I guess the Giants have a little bit of an edge on defense, in my opinion, although they didn't look like it when they played the Cowboys. I don't think you start Aaron Rodgers. I think he's starting to make names out of some of those receivers he has there now. I mean, he's going to eventually the next Devontae Adams is going to come out of Green Bay again because Aaron Rodgers is going to make him look that good. So quick and easy. I'm not the only other thing on the New York side is Barkley, who's an animal, and he's back, bro, hands down back. But you can contain the running back if your quarterback can't throw for shit, right?
Yes.
So, and you can't. On the flip side, Green Bay's got Aaron Rodgers, no-name receiver core who's making it to stars. Lazar is finally starting to catch touchdowns and yardage and everything. You got Aaron Jones and what's his name, Dylan. Come on now, this isn't a hard one to call here. I think it's going to be the Packers.
So the Packers are 6th on offense averaging nearly 380 a game. On defense, they're giving up less than 300, 294. The Giants aren't able to move the ball, and they're middle of the pack on defense. I'm not impressed with Aaron Rodgers this year. Like I wasn't impressed with the Packers at all. The fact that the Niners, that game was, they didn't look good. So I, I can see if the Giants had a semblance of a quarterback, I could see the Giants taking this one. I see them running all over, and it's an NFL. Anybody can beat anybody. Yeah, maybe Daniel Jones runs all over the place and Barkley runs all over the place, but I'm not gonna pick against the Packers again. Um, so I'm also gonna go the Packers.
Why are you scared?
Huh?
Why are you scared? No, you're right.
I'm scared with every pick at this point because we've had some what I would say locks, like it's okay on the ones that you're like, I'm not sure about who would win this game, but there's also been several teams that were like, there's no way they're gonna lose, and then they lose, and you're like, what the hell? This feels like one of those games, right? Like you're like, maybe the Giants are a little froggy.
Well, running back stats, if you look at Jones and Dillon put together, they're a Barkley, right?
Yeah.
And you look at Rodgers, he's, stands alone compared to Jones. It just doesn't look good. So, yeah, man. Your best receiver at Giants is R. James. I don't even know who that is.
Yeah, and flat up, in the even in the stats categories, the Packers are significantly better than the Giants. So, that's who it is.
Packers.
We've got the Steelers and the Bills.
You already know what bandwagon I sit on, and it's going to be the Bills, obviously. The Steelers look horrible. Man, even if you look at their, Steelers are ranked 30th in offense, 27th in defense, 28th in passing, 23 in rushing. Then you look at the other side, Bills are 3rd in offense, 12th in defense, 2nd in passing, 12th in rushing. Like, just on paper itself, it looks like a horrible matchup for the Steelers. And, now they're rookie quarterback, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So, look, I'm sure there's a whole bunch of Steeler fans out there rooting for the Steelers. They're the only ones. I think that even if you look at your fantasy relevance, there's nothing there. Not even Harris is looking good. The only bright spot, and I say this because I have him on my roster, is the tight end for Freermuth, whatever his name is, because he does pretty well. Not great, but 18 receptions, so gets me points. But you look at the Bills, the running game is their best running back is their quarterback. Let's look at that. No, I did not. Well, wait, I did draft the quarterback with 3 running backs.
You get the whole running game locked up.
The receivers are great, right? Hands down, man. I don't even think we've spent a lot of time on this, so this is a no-brainer. The Bills.
Yeah. From a statistical perspective, not only is it the Bills, but it's not even in the ballpark. You're talking the 3rd best offense in the league, whereas the 30th and the Steelers, and then best defense in the league by far, and the Steelers for once are in the bottom half, bottom third actually. So they can't move the ball, they can't stop the ball. This could get like terribly ugly. So Bills.
It's gonna get ugly quick, I think.
Yeah, maybe the new kid comes in and gives them a light of hope, but I don't think the team's playing good enough that it matters. Like even if he has a good game, and traditionally rookies don't light up the league like that. So yeah.
And then look who you're going against. Ugh.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Your first real game as a starter, you get to play a murderer's row of teams. Now they're still not healthy, and that's something we got to look at over time. But for this week, it shouldn't matter. Dub Bills.
Dub Bills.
We got the Chargers and the Browns.
Is what's his face back?
Herbert?
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't leave.
Yeah, but he's still hurt, right? I mean, even hurt though. Look at his stats, bro. 1250, 9 touchdowns, 2 picks. Jesus, he's awesome. The only thing that's non-existent in with the Chargers
Yeah, running
is
game.
your running game. Yeah, you got Eckler and Sony Michel's back. Come on, man. That right there is horrible. Now the receiving core is great, and I know Keenan Allen's still hurt. Hopefully he's back this week. But Mike Williams has stepped in pretty well. The team is good offensively. Defensively, they lost. What's his
Bosa.
face, right? Bosa, yeah. Man, everybody's a what's his face together today.
And I'm knowing who they are, so
There you go. But the passing game is great for this team. He's a beast. I think we've all been big on Herbert for a couple of years now. He's a great athlete. He even hurt. Look at him, man. Right? And he's only getting. I would assume he's getting better. They keep giving him shots. Thyroid Taylor's doctors there waiting for him. But it's a good team. On the flip side of it, though, the Browns having just a great running team. Obviously, between Nick Chubb and Hunt, I mean, wow. Together, they've got 600 yards, 659 yards, and 6 touchdowns together. That's a lot, man, because both are pretty good running backs. Both would be starters on any team by themselves, standalone. Amari Cooper's now starting to show up, which could be big for them. The only problem is that it's Jacoby Brisket throwing at him. And we all know Brisket can't throw that great.
No. But it can take the barbecue.
Even though the offense for the Cleveland Browns is still ranked pretty high, which is great. And their defense, though, gotta talk about their defense. Look, this defense is great. Herbert's hurt. I mean, they come in and they give him a nice little, rough play, and that kid could be out for a while. It's gonna be a tough game, man. It really is, and you're probably gonna think I'm stupid here, and I don't know why, but I believe in Herbert, bro. I do believe that the quarterback's going to make a difference. Even without a run game, this kid just picks defenses apart. Now, I know this is a stronger defense. I just believe he can do it. I believe he can beat this team. So I am going to go with the Chargers.
So if I'm looking at the stats, the Browns have 384 yards per game. The Chargers 371. They're flip-flopped though, so that does worry me. Whereas the Browns they're even 790 passing, 749 rushing. Whereas the Chargers, as you said, 1229 passing, 258 run. They cannot run the ball. And this Browns defense is giving up 326 in yards overall, 212 yards in the air. And the Chargers are giving up 100 yards a game on the ground. And they haven't faced a running team like this. According to the stats, just going off the stats, the Browns should win. I don't love this concept because I think the quarterbacks are mismatched. But I've been picking quarterbacks, and that's not been helping me. So I'm going to go with the Browns.
Well, I guess we've decided to go separate ways on this one, Home Slice.
Yeah. So
I don't know. I'm just 11-4 picking this week. It's a good one. I think the Chargers win though. Oh my! What's the next matchup? Is this a good one? Is it one that we all have to watch?
It is Chicago and Minnesota.
What's the next one? Chicago and Minnesota. Well, obviously you already know. But this is not going to be the best quarterback competition. Although, man, we talk shit about Cousins. He's got a lot of yards. He's got over 1,000 yards, 6 touchdowns, 4 picks. The Bears, well, they got a guy that kind of throws the ball around. I don't know. I mean, he's a running back playing quarterback, but can't play quarterback or run. I don't know. His name is Justin Fields. Right? Is that his name Justin?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, this game is going to be lost just because of him, period. They do have, their running game right now. Herbert came out of nowhere and is doing pretty freaking good. 317 yards, 3 touchdowns, which is great. They have the Egyptian's receiver's brother on this team. Mooney's pretty good, but they haven't
The
done great.
unhurt Egyptian god.
Correct. But there's no one to throw to him because Justin Fields sucks. Period. He can't throw the ball, man. This team is going to be horrible with him. He'll be gone eventually as well. And the Vikings, obviously, it's Cousins, but man, they've got Cook. Although I think he might be a little banged up this week too. But look at Jefferson and Thielen and all that. I mean, just there's too much fantasy relevance for me to go against the Vikings on this one. And the Bears just suck as a team. So yeah, the Vikings. Skol, bitches.
So the Bears are 31st, and the question I have is how did they win? They've won half their games. Their defense isn't that good. So
Well, it wasn't Justin Fields, bro.
it was not Justin Fields. So looking at their, I just want to look at their 97 yards. Like that is what they're averaging in the air. 97. Do we need to say any more?
No, I think that's enough.
I mean, you can rush for 1,000 yards. It doesn't matter if you're passing for 97. You can't win in the NFL that way. The fact they've won 2 games is amazing. They shouldn't win another one all year long.
They'll be picking a quarterback high next year in the draft.
Yeah, especially a Vikings team. While they have been spastic, they should be able to handle this Bears team quite easily.
Yes.
So
It will not be the Bears.
I think the biggest question we have to ask is Justin Fields going to end up in Cleveland next year?
Yes, pretty much.
All right. Any chance you're going to watch that game? Is that going to be on the ticker there?
If it pops up on the Red Zone channel, I ain't watching that shit.
That's it, huh? All right, we've got the Lions and the Patriots.
Jesus. Well, first and foremost, is the Egyptian God playing? That's what I'm waiting for there.
Are any of their wide receivers playing? Because they were all hurt last week.
Correct, but that's why Hawk had so many receptions. He's a great tight end though, bro. Hawkinson, what do you want to call him?
TJ. Let's just do TJ.
Whatevs. He's a great tight end, and he's the security valve there, right? They keep throwing to him, but if the Egyptian St. Brown comes back, it's a whole different ballgame, man. He just finds the way to get open, and he's a great target for his freaking quarterback who, sucks. Goff and Wentz, bro. 2 wasted draft picks, in my opinion. Always will be. Anyways, I think that this game in itself, even without, what's his name, D Swift, Jamal Williams has stepped in pretty well. Their running game is good. Their passing game is good. Obviously, Goff, man, for all we talk shit about him, there's 1,100 yards, 11 picks. 11 touchdowns and 3 picks. I mean, he's obviously doing well now. They're always high score games, I guess. He's always having to throw the ball, especially last week. That was ridiculous. I think they set a new record, right? For combined score.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy, bro. Crazy. Now, the Lions have a pretty well-ranked passing game, rushing game, everything. They're a good team. Now, on the flip side of that, you've got the Patriots, who this season right now, they just stink. Matt, what's his name? Jones? Matt Jones? Is it Matt Jones?
Mac.
I forget Mac Jones. I forget everybody's first name, apparently. 786 yards, 2 TDs, and 5 picks. Holy shit, he ain't doing great at all. The running game is pretty good with Harris and Stevenson. Passing game, come on, man. If your best receiver is Nelson Aguilar, you know you're already fucked. So
that's one.
I know it's... It's a Bill Belichick team, and you expect a lot from a Bill Belichick team. But let's be honest. Ever since Brady left the house, he's not going to ever... It's not going to happen, man. For some reason, who do you give all those Super Bowls to? Belichick or Brady? It didn't happen without Brady, right? So, without Brady, this team is never going to be the same. I don't think so. I don't know if Belichick has just lost it or what, but in the end, this game is going to be won by the Lions and the Egyptian God.
So, well, let's talk about that one, because I think, was Brady instrumental in them winning those Super Bowls? Absolutely. The fact that he took less money to stay, absolutely. But that's not the coach. The coach's role is to set the tone for the team, and that's what Belichick did. He came in at a time they had Parcells, that whole instability thing. Um, he came in and he brought in a culture that they were allowed to thrive in. With, I mean, first of all, most of the times, if you put Brady on another team, he never sees the field, right? Freak accident, Bledsoe got hurt. Next thing you know, he's winning championships left and right. He was a 6th round pick. I mean, you just don't have that happening on the 6th round pick. So I think they're linked, but also Belichick gets a lot of credit because of the way he handled. I mean, the things that they did as far as like picking in the spaces they had in the draft, they did a lot of trading in the draft, and they did a lot of picking up 2nd round picks. Like Gronk and those star players in the middle rounds that made things go. Now, does it go with and we've seen Brady have good teams, bad teams, average teams, and still took him to the playoffs. And in some cases, you get to the Super Bowl, and in some cases, win them. But on the great teams, which ironically the best one I think they lost then with Moss, I think part of that was a good chunk of that was Belichick and the coaching. So that's my answer there. Is he gonna win again? Chances are no, because you're just there's they've never cratered before, and most teams when they lose a superstar like that, they crater, they get some high draft picks, and you kind of build back up again. And unfortunately, he's going to be in that friend zone where they're just winning 6-8 games and not going to get a quarterback of the future, so on and so forth. So, I guess the answer to the question, I think it was both of them, and I don't think it worked out if one didn't have the other, and maybe I'm crazy with that, but that's my answer.
Maybe.
For the actual teams here, the Lions I don't get, and the reason why I don't get them is because they are the number 1 ranked offense and number last ranked defense, and I just is it your defense is so bad you're getting behind and then you're having to score and that's why your offense looks good? Is it what is having Bortles way back in the day, who just recently retired by the way, having him back in, he threw 35 touchdowns one year and all kinds of yards in the second season, but we were down 21-0 before we knew what hit you. So it was really easy to throw for 300 or 400 yards because the defense didn't care. They were up by 4 touchdowns. The Lions feel a little bit like that to me, but the Patriots are pretty punchless in the air. And I mean they're averaging 212 yards per game. They're rushing for a good amount of yards, and their defense is better than the Lions. So and their wide receivers are banged up. The Lions are. So I'm going to take the Patriots, who are middle of the road, over the Lions, who are Jekyll and Hyde. Does that make sense?
It does, but listen. 1, St. Brown is turning up. It looks like he's going to play. 2, I don't pick on logic, man. I'm just like a magician. Boom. 11-4 picks. No, I just think that Goff is really tired. Goff is going to be, like I told you last week, with the real Slim Shady, please stand up, right? These guys eventually are going to turn into the pumpkins that they are. But right now, Goff is doing pretty well. And if Emmanuel St. Brown plays, they'll be great. Williams has just been a beast as well. I mean, look at him, man. 276, 6 touchdowns. Holy shit. For where we're at right now in the season, that's not bad at all. And the Patriots look broken, bro. They do. They look broken. They keep showing shots of Belichick's son, who looks like he just hit a big ass bump off an 8-ball, right? Like he's just. The team looks weird, man. Something doesn't look right. And I know it wasn't all Brady, but maybe some of that is logical, man. How involved, and he was Brady with some of the picks they made? How involved was Brady with some of the decisions they made based on money and all that? Because he's like, all right, if I got to not take $3 million this season to help out, let's do it.
Yeah, but we're picking Bob here in the draft.
and Bob turns out to be
Gronkowski or
yeah, exactly, right? So that's my whole point, though. It's either somebody, whether it's Brady, Belichick, or their scouting department must be phenomenal. They keep finding guys like that, right? That are
Yeah.
just great. 6th-round pick, right? They found Brady, bro. Listen, though, Brady was great, period. I think any team eventually he would have been put on, he'd eventually rise to the top, dude. He would have. His chance would have came. But anyways, I'm sticking with the Lions.
Okay. I will be going the flip side. Does it matter? Because I'm going to go whatever the inverse of 11 and what you went.
I'm going to go with all animal teams.
All animal teams. All right. So next we got the Sea Chickens and the Saints.
All right, maybe I won't go animal teams right now. I mean, the Saints looked crazy last week against the Lions, but then again, it was against the Lions, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was a weird game. A lot of points, bro. Geno Smith, still not a fan, but I mean, look at his stats. You can't argue his percentage, right? His completion percentage, 77%. That's pretty good, bro.
Check down Charlie.
Yeah, but 1,000 yards for check down Charlie, 6 touchdowns, only 2 picks. Penny is at 292 yards, 2 touchdowns, but he'll be hurt next week walking into the stadium. Lockett and Metcalf, not a lot of touchdowns there, but there's some yardage there. They're looking good. They're starting to shine, right? Although a lot of that probably came last week.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Against the 32nd ranked defense.
Correct. So there's that, right? It's hard to say the Seahawks are doing anything, right? But on paper, and that they look good right now based on last week's game, because
Yeah, 1 out of 4 skews it. Yeah.
Geno threw for 800 yards. On the flip side of that, you have I can't see Winston, even though I had a LASIK surgery. Still throwing to the wrong people. 858 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 5 picks. Kamara's been out, still out. Probably won't play this week either. And Ingram, come on now. Ingram's like, hey, we were missing quarterbacks. Can you call your dad, see if he can play a running back this week? They're like, come on now. And I don't think they use Taysom Hill right. They have Olave, whatever you say, that rookie, which I was big on in the draft, by the way. I thought he would be good. And I think you're the one who told me they have, what's his name? You know what's his name is? Oh, my God. Cordell, what's his name? The other guy from LSU, bro.
I don't know.
They were both with Cleveland, bro. Beckham's friend, man.
Oh, Jarvis.
Jarvis, correct. He told me they had Jarvis, so this and that. But Olave is their leading receiver right now. 335 with only 1 touchdown. Not a bad team in the sense they just don't have a run game, man. And I think other teams will prove you wrong. I still believe that a true good NFL team is going to have a balanced team eventually. Down the line, as you get down, the more games you play, if all you have is a passing game, by week 10, man, teams are figuring you out, right? It's hard for you to scheme up a whole bunch of shit when all you do is pass. If you don't have even a moderately okay running game, you're going to be in trouble eventually. And that's kind of like, man, I don't want to say it, and I don't want to jinx it, but I have a feeling that that's what's going to happen to Buffalo, bro. You need to find a better run game than they have. You can't have your quarterback being almost your best running back. And if all he's going to do is throw, even though he's great, and I know you're going to say, well, look at New England, look at Brady. I get that. But even they had running backs to give him a moderately okay running game. You know what I mean? Look at Tampa and Brady. Fournette became a star because of Brady, right? So my point is that, I know I've spewed off, but the Saints, all they have is Winston, bro, and it's pathetic right now. Teams are starting to kick their ass for that. On the flip side of that, Geno Smith threw 800 yards last week, so the stats are skewed. I hate to say this. This is going to be almost a coin flip to me, bro. But honestly, I think in the long spectrum of shit, I think that the defense is better on the Saints side than it is on the Seahawks side. They were throwing against, like you said, the shittiest pass defense last week. The Seahawks were. The Saints aren't that shitty. They aren't that great either. but I'm going to give it to the Saints. I think that Kamara is trending not playing. If he does play, even worse for them, right? But they got to use Taysom Hill like a running back, even though he's a tight end, and the Saints will win. So the Saints.
Yeah, from a stat perspective, the Saints are um they're better on offense by a couple ranks. Three 3 yards, but again, to me, an 800-yard game skews the heck out of that. So they're probably a couple ranks, but the Seahawks are next to last, and they're actually in the ballpark of the line, so they can't stop anything. Um, the Saints are middle of the pack, so to me, the Saints are going to win. The only question, and again, it's when Jameis Winston. I think Peyton had him settled down, or and because he had that time in Tampa where he hit the 50 touchdowns, 50 interceptions. Like he's had his moments in the NFL, and you can't play that way. And I've seen I don't understand quarterbacks that throw a high amount of picks, because basically in NFL routes, you're either open or you're not. And if you're throwing in, it's one thing if you're throwing into double, triple coverage. I mean, to get 50 picks, you have to be throwing into double, triple coverage. That's just it. You're not losing enough 50-50 balls on a one-on-one to get that high of a number. So you just can't read a defense, and that's what it comes down to. He can't read an NFL defense. He's making the bad read, and he's throwing the ball in the bad spot. And I guess that's amazing to me, because in this day and age, you've got a quarterback that just can't do it, can't process it. But he's not incompetent, because he can throw for the yards, he can throw for the touchdowns. It's just in that 1 to 5 boneheaded plays a game that he's going to throw into double, triple coverage. This game, I don't think it matters. I think they're talented enough to beat the Seahawks. As he throws 5 picks, I will change my mind. But I'm going to go with the Saints.
Agreed on all fronts. Although, just to step up for Winston, he had not had his LASIK surgery yet when he threw those 50 interceptions. It's all about the LASIK, bro.
Gotcha. This show brought to you by Eye Doctors of America.
Yes, sir.
All right. In the what should be an ass-kicking contest, Miami at the Jets, and now I want you to tell me why we should put $100 on the Jets this week.
What are the odds on that game? I'd love to know. I might. Look, I don't know why. I can't explain it. But, yeah, I can. Tua's not playing. So Miami's not the same team, period. What happened to Tua, I'm no doctor, and I'm not going to play internet doctor, and I did not stay at a Holiday Inn. So, what happened to Tua, and we'll talk about it real quick, because I think we should, was horrible. If he was already hurt, man, I think there's 2 sides to this, man. And I'll tell you what it is. How much was Tua? How much was the actual organization, right? And the reason I say that is, so these quarterbacks, these number 1 picks, these high-end quarterbacks, they're a high, I don't want to say commodity, right? But they're a high-end wrench in the business. I don't know how you want to say it. I'm not trying to. I don't know. I'm trying to be politically correct and not say that it's a high piece of property, right? But if you look at it in a business sense, that's what these players are, right? They're the property of the organization because they pay them. And they pay them as pieces like quarterback, running back. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, they are chess pieces that are given a value and a dollar amount for a yearly salary to go do their role on that chessboard.
Correct. So they're not, as an organization, if I have Tua, right, and I've invested $30 million in the kid or whatever, I'm going to protect my investment, right? I'm not, I should have said investment. Investment was the word I was looking for, by the way. Okay, everybody get an uproar because I said property. But investment. You're going to protect your investment. If I know that my investment's a little banged up and putting them out there can really sacrifice them, I'm not going to fucking do that. It'd be stupid.
That is 2.
You lose your fucking investment.
That's 3.
Fuck me. Oh
4,
shit.
5.
So you can't risk an investment like that. It would be dumb because, again, if Tua's out forever, you lost your investment. He's gonna get paid. Trust me. He's not just gonna get paid with what you owe him on a contract. He's coming for you. If it was you that did it, right? If you pushed it, if you cleared it, if the doctor did it, there's so much more that's gonna come out. They already scapegoat, fired the doctor, all that bullshit. But there's more to this story that hasn't been said yet. And eventually, the NFL, the players' union, is gonna want an investigation because they have to.
Oh, they're doing that. Just so you know, they're doing that now.
It's gonna come out, bro.
Yeah.
There's more to this story. Now, was it the Dolphins? Was it the doctor? Man, and God forbid, was it Tua, bro? Did Tua say, "Hey, you know what? I want to be out there. Just clear me. I'm good. Let's go." Right?
Well, it's all the above, but you got to realize the factors that cause it. So NFL contracts aren't guaranteed. This is his make or break year. Everybody said that. He knows he has to produce. So therefore, he cannot, because he's been injured every year that he's played, he can't have that injury tag and be the franchise guy. So he's like, no, I'm fine. The doctor's put there so they can have plausible deniability, and the doctor made a mistake, right? And the coaches are, of course, saying they did everything right, and they're adamant about that, which means they did not do everything right. Now, as far as a business analogy and investment analogies, lots of businesses don't do things for the long term. They are focused on the short term. They're going from quarter to quarter. And I think NFL teams are in the same boat. There's some smart teams that are looking at the long-term pictures, and those are the teams like the Packers. They don't pay their guys in free agency. They let them walk because they replace them with draft picks. Then you get some teams like your favorite team and the Redskins, who are always mucking around and trying to do this, this deal or that deal or something like that, instead of what's best in the long term. So, and then there's just incompetent teams like mine. So I think it's everyone's at fault, and you gotta. It's like this. People say all the time that it's I care about people and I care about life, but then they show, then they're like, death row, kill them all. So people turn, all sorts of people turn on, sometimes it's pro-life, sometimes it depends on what the situation is. First of all, if you're truly concerned about people, football is bad. Like, you are going to get your head gets sloshed around. That's what causes CTE. Like,
how dare you?
It's bad. Like, so we are paying people millions of dollars because there are inherent risks. You can get paralyzed. You can get killed. You can also not remember your name in 20 years. But the difference is they're not making $100,000 or $500,000. They're making millions of dollars a year for that. So I think it's a little bit of the system. It's a little bit of you're playing with your life and you're getting money for it. So that's how I feel. So I feel it's everyone's fault. But you can't sit there the NFL can't sit there and say we really care about player safety if you've got teams doing this, right?
Well, that's where the NFL Players Union comes in, though, right? They're there to protect the player, supposedly. Yes. Now, fine. Look, we're not doctors. These organizations hire doctors to protect the players, supposedly. So if Tua is banged up and he's saying I'm good, is it not the job of the doctor to say, hold on there, bucko, you're not good? And say, all right, look, I can see it, I can run. Dude, come on, man.
I'm absolutely certain it's the doctor's job to do that. But I know the doctor that is paid by the Miami Dolphins is not going to say something that he's not supposed to.
No, correct. That's my whole point that I'm leading to. So, look, nowadays, technology, medical technology, all that good stuff. Come on, bro. We in our youth league, we have a thing. If we suspect a kid with concussion, he plays this little game on a phone, and that little game helps us tell if he's concussed. A simple technology game, bro, and it's pretty good technology. It's been proven. I don't know what the hell it's called right now. I'd have to ask Bill. But these doctors, they can hook Tua up to whatever it is. Yeah, he's just not right. I mean, whatever it is that they test, his brain waves, whatever. Somewhere along the line, all that got messed up. All of it. Because there were so many tests, so many fail safes, all this stuff to protect him, bro. Come on, dude. How many times have we seen a guy go concussion and go, oh, Sunday? He's playing Thursday. Bullshit. We've seen that happen how many times? Never, probably. They're out a week, 2 weeks, 4 days, homie. You're talking Monday, Tuesday, not even 4 days, dude. You're talking what, 3 days? 3 days to get ready for the next one. They did say he had a concussion, right? Before he played that game?
Yes.
Okay, dude. He shouldn't have been in there, man. His brain was still soft. Everything was still messed up. He just shouldn't have. And the doctors messed up. Now, him getting paid, yeah, contracts aren't guaranteed. But if this kid can't play anymore in his career, or doesn't get what he wants, somebody's getting sued. And it's going to be for not just what he's losing now, but future earnings, any kind of advertising, whatever it's called, all that stuff, bro. It's going to be horrible. This thing is not over. I have a feeling that Tua is not going to play in the NFL anymore, man. I have a feeling he's going to look at it and say, man, I don't know. Do we even know where he's at? I know he was released, but there's no information around it. I just have this feeling that what's best for Tua now, man, that was ugly, bro. I've seen people get concussed, but that shit was ugly, bro. He got knocked the F out. Let's be honest. I've had 2 concussions in my football career, man. They probably, well, 2 that we knew of, and probably a lot more, because back then nobody gave a
shit. So I'm pretty sure I had a bunch of none of those diagnosed because you just got back in.
Correct. You got hit, you're in.
Just like water breaks were not given and things like that. So yeah.
Correct. The only time they knew I was concussed is because one time I was asking for breakfast tacos right after I got up. And the other time, for some reason, I could smell onion rings and thought we were at Whataburger. So those 2 times, they actually didn't let me go back in. But other times, I guarantee I was concussed, and I was back in the game. And that's a messed up situation, period. But this isn't the NFL. That wasn't the NFL. There weren't doctors that were high-end doctors. Somebody dropped the ball so fucking big time on Tua, and someone's going to pay the price. And it may be him that pays it with his career. They can't turn around and put the blame on him. They obviously fired the doctor, so they already admitted a fuck up.
You're like 12 now. I can't even keep track anymore.
It's because when I get all excited,
yeah.
I used to see me with my football team sometimes. Beep, 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 beep. My head coaches are still carrying a pot on how many F-bombs I dropped during the game. It is what it is. Anyways.
So you don't think you'll play again?
There's a strong possibility that he does not play again. Yeah.
Wow.
I really think that was the word. Like, that was bad, bro. For him, and he didn't hit his head. Let's remember that. He did not hit it. Look at the play. It didn't look like he hit his head on the damn field, bro. That was just the wobbling of his brain inside of his helmet. Like, wow, yeah. Bro. That was bad. That tells you he wasn't ready, man.
I saw that on like ESPN today. Steven Smith was talking about a time. He's like, one time I saw Michael Vick and he got hit in the stomach. And he's like, so, the head didn't hit the ground. It wasn't, but the fact that he got hit so hard in the stomach and that head whiplashed that he got a concussion out of it. And, it's about the brain moving and it all of a sudden flying forward and hit a sudden stop hitting your skull. That's what it's all about. And we are not, I remember actually watching the movie with Will Smith and, he's showing it. He's like, this is a ram. It's got a, it's designed to hit things. Like a human is not designed to lead with its head. So, all scary stuff. Hopefully he does get better. Hopefully it doesn't ruin his career. And also hopefully when he's 60 he can still spell things.
Well, man, it's not just that. It's not about spell things. It's what happens to you. Let's look at what's his name from Junior Seau, man.
Yeah, Seau. Yeah, that's what I was gonna go with.
Man, who knows what these concussions do to your brains, man? It's scary. It really is.
Well, and everyone you hear, they just it's almost like it changes your personality. Yeah. And then there's some like some of the ex-Steeler players that they talked about, and they've lost all their money. They They don't make rash decisions anymore. They're making basically impulse control goes away. So uh, as you can imagine, it's the brain. It's a very complex thing. As you start bashing it around and losing function in it, it's not going to be good. So, all right, now to the football game. We have the Jets playing the Dolphins.
Well, a Tua's team. I don't know. I don't know why I'm so big on the Jets. I'm not big on them. To me, they're the ultimate underdog, right? Like they are. They're the shit team. You already know they're the shit team, and you just want to root for them, right? I should put money on them because it would make it more fucking interesting. But then I'd be like, fuck, why did I put money on that shit team? Shit, my bad. But yeah, I get it. And is Wilson back? Or is it still Flacco?
Yeah, Wilson was back last week.
Well, without Tua, I think the Dolphins are a different team. I think their running game is kind of lackluster. Obviously, Tyreek Hill and Waddle, great combo for receivers. I mean, they've got over 800 yards together and 5 touchdowns. That's just great. Great. But again, no Tua. So all that to me changes. And the Jets, man, I think the Jets, they're obviously not going to make the playoffs, but they're going to beat teams that they shouldn't beat. Well, maybe they'll make the playoffs. Who knows, right? But they're going to beat teams that they shouldn't beat, and they're going to upset some teams. And I think that without Tua, this is one of them. So the Jets.
So I'm gonna look at the stats and I'm gonna throw them out the window because they don't really matter because the guy who made the stats isn't there anymore. Um, the Jets are top 10 offense. The Dolphins are right about there, 2 ranks below the Jets. Very skewed on both teams not running the ball for crap. On defense, the Dolphins are bad, and the Jets are also bad. So, but the Jets have averaged 1306 yards against them, whereas the Dolphins have given up 1600. So, I think Teddy Bridgewater is a good quarterback. I think the Jets have a lot of skill, or the Dolphins have a lot of skill positions. I think they win 1-4. Tua. So I'm going Dolphins.
Shit. Right now, the Dolphins are all thinking, man, do I really want to put my ass out there for this organization that put Tua out there? There's going to be some morale and issues going on in that locker room, I guarantee you, and it's going to affect the rest of the season. Just saying. The Jets.
Well, it's one of those things. One of two things happens, right? You either rally behind, or you fold and it tears apart, right? You never really. I mean, you're not in the locker room. You don't know which way it's going. I hope. Well, I feel that the Dolphins are going to rally. I mean, the things that they're saying is, oh, it's a shame and all that. And I think they're going to rally to try to do their own. But you're right. They might also be like, yo, what's in it for me? And that's not going to work.
Well, eventually they're going to sit there and say, hey, I mean, are they going to push me to get out there hurt and make it worse? Like, obviously they did it to our quarterback. I don't know, man. I think it could backfire. I think this investigation is going to make things a lot worse. I think that drama isn't over yet. We'll see.
All right. So the next game we have are the Falcons at the Buccaneers.
Let's see. Falcons and Buccaneers.
And I think the Falcons are going to be without Patterson, right?
Yeah, he's out for, 4 weeks? Injured reserve?
Yes.
Now, they do have a rookie running back that I tried to pick up but could not. Everybody had him. Picked them up. Algier, I don't know how to say his damn name, but I have a feeling he's gonna have a little breakout, man. I do have good feelings about that kid, but we'll see. London, that rookie receiver. I mean, their whole team is gonna be not young. They got young and then they got stupid with Mariota, but is it enough to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? No, not at all. Hands down, the Atlanta Falcons won't. This is going to be a very lopsided game. I think that even though good old Timmy Brady, the Devil's cousin, is having problems with his girl. I mean, come on, poor guy. So many Super Bowl rings and a great looking wife. Fuck
Ex-wife,
him.
great looking ex-wife.
Did they get divorced?
I mean, they're getting. I mean, they've got divorce lawyers, so that's not a good sign.
You're saying there's a chance. Either way,
I didn't say there was a chance, or whatever you got out of that. Like a chance for you? Probably not.
Oh shit. Too much offense, too much everything. Tampa Bay is good at a lot of things right now, and the Falcons. I mean, the Falcons don't look bad on paper. I mean, they don't. Even in stat wise, I don't think they're that bad, are they?
No.
Either way, Buccaneers.
So
I'll make it sweet and short.
Yeah, if we look at the stats, we will see that the Falcons are actually better than the Buccaneers offensively. So the Falcons are averaging 349 yards a game. The Buccaneers are averaging 317. On defense, the Bucs are way better. They're giving up 321, whereas the Dirty Birds are giving up almost 400 a game. So, here's the thing. I don't. So I think the Bucs are gonna win, but I don't think it's gonna be a blowout. That's not how the Falcons are playing. The Falcons are actually playing things close. The Bucs have had problems on offense, right? I mean, maybe this is a get right game for them, but they've not been looking good offensively at all. So I mean, even the fact that the Falcons are, they're statistically better than them on offense. I'm still going to go with the Bucs, but they don't. So the problem is I'm trying to find who are the teams in the NFC right now, and I'm struggling. Who are they? Is it the Rams? Because the Rams look broken. They look like everything has to go through Cooper Kupp or Tyler Higbee. That's their offense. The Bucs just look off, and they lost Evans for suspension, but then he came back, and they still don't look 100%. The other powerhouse, Cooper Rush. I mean, is Dallas the team? I mean, I don't see who's going to step up in the NFC this year, which is probably great for AFC teams, but I don't. The Eagles, having seen them play in the rain last week, they made us turn the ball over, but I think that was more the conditions than them. Maybe it is the Eagles. I don't see who the number one. There's not a clear number one NFC team to me.
You talk about Cowboys, bro.
I think your defense is there. I don't think the offense is there. And unless you think, and I asked you the first week, I said, do you think Cooper Rush? And you were like, no. But now 3 weeks later, do you think Cooper Rush is the guy?
Man, Rush we trust. What are you talking about? I liked him from the start.
And we got to the part where we both start drinking. So
yeah, where's the replay?
Bucs it is.
Yeah. Well, really, Bucs? Yeah. I think it's the Bucs too. I have to go back on something real quick because I forgot about this. Mm-hmm. So the New England Detroit game, I might want. I don't want. Yeah, I kind of do, kind of don't, but I'm not. The reason I want to change my pick is because of Bailey Zapp. So Bailey Zapp is from a town about 2 hours away from me. Just one of those made the NFL. Nobody really wanted him. Walk on it in college, stuff like that, from Victoria. And now he's going to start. He stepped in last week against Aaron Rodgers, did okay, and now he's going to be starting in the NFL. It's one of those Texas kind of thing, right? I'll be rooting for him, but I'm not picking him. Still picking Detroit.
Okay. That was very exciting.
Just wanted to put it out there that I am rooting for the kid.
Okay.
And if they win, I will say that I called it, but didn't pick them.
Okay. You can have that. The Titans and the Winces.
Who's this?
The Titans and the Winces? The Commanders.
Yeah, he's Goff's cousin, you know what I mean? With a real Slim Shady, please stand up. This one's coming here too eventually. Let's start with the Titans. Derrick Henry, period. I think he's going to really start revving forward here pretty soon. He seems to start slow sometimes. He'll really get it going, and then he'll be a danger. However, they have no receiving game, man. And in the flip side I said earlier, you can't just have a passing game without a run game. I think it's kind of the same thing here, man. That power ball, just grind it, and blast it to the other. You know, how we run youth ball sometimes doesn't work in the NFL, obviously. Is Henry a great running back? Yes. Can he make tons of yardage? Yes. But, man, now teams have adjusted to all that. And Tannehill, I mean, yeah, he's got 784 yards, 5 touchdowns, 3 picks, but they don't have the receivers. Come on, Old Man Woods is their leading receiver. Talk about that. Henry's a great one. Now, on the flip side, the Commanders went 1,000 yards, 1,031, 8 touchdowns, 5 picks. Okay, Gibson, Gibson's all that. Who's coming back this week for them, though? Is that rookie that got shot, man.
Buttocks.
Pew, pew, pew. Pew, pew, pew. That guy's back. And I believe he's going to be playing this week. So that's going to make a big difference. You know, Goff. Wentz has good receivers with McLaurin and Samuels. The team's not bad. I think that their running game kind of sucks, but they were big on that rookie running back. And, you know, he got shot in the ass. Now he's feeling good. He's good to go. You know, a little less ass flesh, but yeah, he'll be all right.
40%
less. Does that make a difference in giving the win? That's a tough one. When you look at it, neither one of these teams are like, ooh, they're super great. The Titans defense kind of sucks, but then again, so does Washington. They're not that much offense greatness. Their offenses are about equally shitty. Their passing game obviously is better in Washington. The rushing game is, considering you have Derrick Henry, they're not great yet, but that'll start revving up. And again, if you start revving up a run game, then your pass game opens up, even if you have Old Man Winters. This game, honestly, is going to come down to the running game, Avi. Even though Wentz has a great passing game, I think if that Washington running back comes out and makes a difference, that even helps Wentz even more. And you'll see a good score shift, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. Hard to go against Henry. I've got him in a money league, and I really want him to do well. But I think, and I hate choosing NFC East teams, but I'm going to go with the Commanders. The Commanders.
It's so the Commanders have averaged on offense in the lower third of the league at 1323. The Titans have averaged are not average. They've made 1,323 yards, average 330 a game. The Titans are averaging 287. They're the second. It's the Bears, the Panthers, the Steelers, the Titans, and the we can't throw the ball. 185 yards in the air. That's insane. And I don't think it's Tannehill. I do think it's the fact that they have no weapons, no separation. That's very, very hard. Their defense, they're both. I guess the surprise is the Titans' defense is terrible. They can't stop the pass. They can't stop the run. They're not doing anything. They're in the bottom third. They're actually worse than the Commanders. So I said I was going to pick stats. The stats say the Commanders are better on offense and defense. So therefore, they're going to win.
The Commanders?
Yeah. Although I can't curse the Titans if I don't pick them.
But you're not a Titans fan.
Oh yeah, but by picking them they lose, so it's all good.
Maybe you should pick them.
Yeah.
Well, there's that.
Turned over a new leaf.
Moving on.
The 49ers and the Panthers.
Are we avoiding your homer game?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. We are not avoiding the homer game. The Texans and the Jags. Thank you.
Oh my god, dude! I'm gonna come straight to it and start. I'm not even going through the whole details. I'm choosing the Texans because sunshine is sunshine, and he's starting to prove exactly what I was saying. Sunshine is sunshine. I'm going with the Texans. David Mills and all, shitty damn quarterback, blah blah blah. I will say, Pierce, that running back, I did say he'd start shining, and he's starting to. Again, he's the only weapon they have, so of course he is. But he looks good. Now on the flip side, I get it. You got sunshine. You've got good running backs. I think eventually Etienne, whatever his name is, will end up being the number one running back for the Jaguars.
You shut your filthy mouth.
you, you must have Robinson.
Yeah, I do.
But weren't you all big on Etienne?
Oh yeah, I think he's a really good. Yeah, he's very fast. He catches the ball very well. He's explosive. So yes, you'd like to have explosive players.
He plays football.
He plays the football.
Yeah, well, he's not doing bad. Don't get me wrong, but man, wasn't it him fumbling?
No, it was Lawrence.
Yeah, sunshine, bro.
I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about Etienne.
Sunshine equals Lawrence. You know that.
Gotcha.
Did you not watch the movie Remember the Titans?
I did watch the movie. I thought we were talking about the running back.
946 yards, 8 TDs, 2 picks, great. But yeah, he started having like butt fumbles or whatever the fuck you want to call it. He was not doing great. So, I don't know, man. I don't know why I'm even choosing the Texans. They are losers. They're 0-3-1. Jaguars are 2-2. But it'd be really great for the Texans to beat them just so next week I can talk mad trash to you. And you'll get frustrated.
And so the Texans, we don't do well against the Texans. I don't think we've ever swept them. So we never do well against them. They are a thorn in the side. Let's talk about last week. We're up 14-0. Life was good. Then we're down 21-14 before we knew it. And the rain just kept coming, and then the turnovers came. Was not impressed with Hurts. Was impressed with the Philly D. That's legit. Lawrence looked bad in the second half. The game ended up being an 8-point loss. It was 21-29. He threw a pick in the red zone where they could have easily scored. I mean, it was on like the 10-yard line. And there were several just unforced fumbles. One time he was just running, scrambled left, and he just basically dropped the football. Those are young teams. Young teams do things like that. It's still a young team, and I think it's going to happen from time to time, where you just have one of those, man. As long as as long as it's not one of those that you're. I think that's the difference between the really good quarterbacks and the average quarterbacks and the great quarterbacks is how much inconsistency is in their game, right? You see, Aaron Rodgers has a bad game, but it's once a season, right? And then he's better after that. So, you'd like to see that growth, in sunshine. I knew the Eagles are one of the top teams in NFC, and I know it's in your division, so there's no love there, but they're a legit team. So knew it was going to be a hard game. There was also emotion because Doug Peterson was coming back to Philadelphia, and they don't want to get shown up by their old coach. So it was one of those, it's not sometimes who you play, but when you play them, that was a bad time. Bad time in the bad weather. Assuming the weather is not as bad, I believe, and again, we'll look at the stats here, but I believe the Jags are going to win this one, and I hope they win it handily. I don't know that they will. So, from a offensive perspective, the Texans average 300 yards a game. The Jags average 336. Defensively, the Texans are near at the bottom, giving up 412 yards per game. The Jags in the middle of the pack at 330. So the Jags are better on offense and defense. The funny thing is the Texans cannot stop the run at all. Which may make it just easy to lose. They're giving up the most yards in the league. Second most to the Bears. They're giving up 172 yards on the ground. That's not good. You know, I can see us running the ball down the throat. So hopefully we do that. Hopefully the stats don't lie and we win. So I am going with the homer pick. Any questions?
Oh no! You lost me at delusional. So we good. All I remember is fumbles and sunshine being sunshine.
Thank you.
I'm going with the Texans.
You rode that Texan pick a week too long, Ripper.
We shall see.
All right, since we didn't skip the homer pick, we got the 49ers and the Panthers.
The 49ers and the Panthers. Look, let's start with some news. Cleveland is where quarterbacks go to die. Now, we have one quarterback by the name of
Sunshine.
Baker Boy Mayfield, who escaped from Alcatraz Island. He made it out, man. He made it out. But he's still dead inside and playing like a dead quarterback. So, there's that. They do have McCaffrey. Okay. He's not playing great either, man. For 58 attempts, he has 270 yards. He's not the best. Their top receiver is Anderson and then McCaffrey. My point is that their offense is so centered basically around McCaffrey and Mayfield, and McCaffrey's not doing that great. If he was, okay, and it's Mayfield, right? How do you say this? Like, all right, you're picking football teams, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're going through, and Baker's like that middle guy. Like he's like out of 10 kids, he's like the 7th one you pick, maybe 6th. You know he's gonna suck, but he's better than Fat Timmy, Slow Johnny, and Ugly Windy, right? So all right, you put him on your team. You still know he's gonna suck, but he filled in. He was better than whatever else was available. In this case, what was available other than Baker, right? For a quarterback for that team, there wasn't a lot they could go out and get, so they took him. He's still not great. I think he would be a great backup quarterback. I don't believe Baker's the starting quarterback, to be honest. Maybe if he was in Cleveland, because that's where great starting quarterbacks go. But the flip side of that, Garoppolo, my Italian friend Garoppolo. If it's Italian, is it Italian? Sounds
yes.
Italian. All right, so Garoppolo is back. I mean, this dude, bro. All right, so they don't cut him. They give him a 1-year contract. If he takes them to the playoffs, somebody's paying Garoppolo. You know what I mean? They're going to have no choice. Will it be any other team other than the 49ers? Probably. I mean, for some reason, nobody wanted Garoppolo. I'm not sure what it is. I mean, he's playing okay, but he could be Baker Mayfield's cousin. Let's be honest, right? We'll see how he does. 604 yards and 3 touchdowns and a pick for what? He started when? The second game? When did Lance get hurt? First game?
No, he came in on. So his first full start was Denver. He came in the second. Yeah, so he came in the Seahawks game.
I mean, not bad for where he started. We'll see where Jimmy G goes. I'm not big on Jimmy G either, but if he can have put together a pretty good contract, there's going to be a dumbass team, probably the Panthers, that's going to pay him to come play for him, right? And somebody will. Obviously, run game. Wilson's not great, but he's doing okay. They got Samuel, who we all know is a beast on everything. Overall, I think the 49ers are a better team right now, and I think that they take the victory here. I'm going to go with 49ers.
So, looking at the stats, we start with defense because the 49ers are the second best defense. They are giving up 234 yards a game, 160 in the air, 70 on the ground. Very dominant. The Panthers are giving up 300 and something a game, 350 yards a game, 212 in the air, 130 on the ground. So the 49ers defense is next tier. The offense is struggling, but then I look back at the reason. I'm going to look at the reasons why, because that offense, obviously half of it was Trey Lance. The Panthers, however, are dead last, and it's across the board, right? So they don't rush the ball and they don't throw the ball. So they're averaging 262 yards, which is below the Chicago Bears. So they're bad. This is what I see. I see they lost 19-10 to Chicago, the 49ers. They beat the Seahawks. They lost to the Broncos. They lost to the Rams. To me, Jimmy G didn't have a preseason, so that was the Seahawks in the Denver game. And the Rams was his week one. If that's the case, this team looks like it's back on track, right? Because I mean, losing 11-10 to Denver isn't good. So the defense has given up 10 points, 7 points, 10 points, 9 points. Carolina's not going to score. They're not going to score 10 points. So the 49ers are going to win. Simple, easy.
All right then.
I think you're picking the 49ers as well.
I am, yes.
I was really hoping you weren't, though.
Why is that?
I think there's very few locks in the NFL. I think that's probably as close as you can get. And for Baker, I like Baker, but you're right. He's just not. I don't know if it's decision making. I don't know if it's arm strength, but he's just not doing. He's not doing what I thought he would do. Maybe it's lost his mojo too. I don't know, but it doesn't look the same. All right, your homer pick: the Cowboys at the Rams.
The Rams. I'm not picking the Rams.
Is that it? Is that the entire explanation?
Sorry, my mic went out. That was weird. All right, so
I thought we were just not picking the Rams. That's it.
listen, I'm a homer, and you already know my pick's gonna be the Cowboys. Period. Now, I'm not just picking it because I think. Well, yeah, I am just picking it because it's the fucking Cowboys. Don't get me wrong. However, the Cowboys are playing pretty good. You got to admit their defense ain't bad. They do not have a bad defense. They really don't. I think Diggs is going to have another phenomenal season. I think the thing that hurts us the most, honestly, you got Diggs, you got Parsons. We've got a great defense. Defense on the board, hard to play against. Period. No matter who you are. Obviously, the Rams have not been looking great, and they're very susceptible to the kind of defense that the Cowboys runs. Diggs is an animal. You can't pass on him that great. And Parsons just creates freaking chaos, bro. So that's going to be a problem for the Rams. Let's start with that. That in itself is enough to beat the Rams. However, the Cowboys' run game. Look, people say, "Oh, Elliott, this." That's fine. You don't got. I don't look at. You can't look at one running back anymore. You have to look at the committee. You know that because every team has at least two running backs that are running the ball. In this case, you look at Elliott and Pollard. Together, they have over 400 yards, something like that. Which isn't 300 yards. No, 400 yards and 2 touchdowns. Not great for 4 games. I mean, you're averaging 100 yards, not in 0.5 touchdowns. Great.
They're averaging 56.8 and 40.5. So add that up real quick. It is 97.3.
Well, that's not horrible. Not but it's not horrible. It's probably about the average in the NFL right now. So their run game is there. They both bring unique differences. I think Pollard right now is a little more explosive, but man, you can't discount Zeke. he, I don't know, man. I'm not. I'll be honest. I think it's time for Zeke to go. Honestly,
Hmm.
I think we can find something for less. I think you already have it with Pollard. Bring in another couple running backs to back it up, and you're good. I don't think Zeke brings anything particularly special to the table anymore. Like where, ooh, he's just such a great running back, like a Henry or whatnot, right? I think we're missing out on the chance to bring other running backs in because he's fucking expensive and he needs to go. Now, our receiving core, hands down, with CeeDee Lamb doing what he's doing, it's going to get better and better and better. The only problem is this, though. They're creating a chemistry with Rush right now, and it's only going to get better. He's got only 737 yards and 4 touchdowns, but he has 0 picks, bro. 0 picks in 3 game starts. That is not bad at all. The biggest problem is, though, you pay Dak Prescott a lot of money. And I don't believe that Jerry Jones is going to keep him on the bench. I think they're already saying he's too stiff. He's not going to play this game. That's fine. I honestly think that this is a decision making game for Jerry Jones, where he's like, all right, let's see how Cooper does. Like if he tears it up against this team, we win. We're on that kind of win streak. He doesn't throw picks, make stupid decisions. He's really leading the team. At that point, I think he says, all right, somebody go break Dak's hand again. He's going to be out for a while. Right? There's going to be something happen. Dak was taking a piss and the toilet seat fell in his hand or some kind of bullshit excuse, right? Well, I mean, that'd be hard. He's not a midget like, what's his name from Arizona? But yeah, it is going to cause a quarterback controversy, honestly. I think if Cooper Rush does really well, it's not just that. Look, man, you played, we played. You follow your quarterback, man. You build a chemistry with your team, and it's hard, man. When a backup has to come out, you all want to support him and root for him and all that. But man, it's like you're going 5, 6 games of just this chemistry and this badassness, and everything's going well, and then it's like, do we really want the other guy back? We weren't doing great with him, and Dak hasn't, man. He hasn't really been that quarterback that's just that you fall in love with, right? Like I love Troy Aikman back in the day, bro. Different style quarterback towards his end to the end from him, shouldn't it? But he was a great quarterback for his time.
Hmm.
Teams love Mahomey, right? They love Allen. They're loving Herbert. You love your quarterback. Does Dallas love Dak Prescott? That's the big one. I think that him and Elliott are in that same boat of like I
Well,
would do her at midnight, but
but you love them when they're winning, right?
doesn't everybody? Everybody loves a winner.
Exactly. So I mean, why do you like Tom Brady? Well, because he takes me every other year to the Super Bowl. you
Correct.
know?
But listen. You got to choose a Tom Brady or Dak Prescott. You're not choosing Dak Prescott. I do love Tom. Everybody loves their quarterback when they're winning. But listen, man, and this is non-delusional. When we get to the playoffs, and it hasn't been much, but getting there with Dak didn't excite me. It really didn't.
Hmm.
It didn't excite me just like it didn't excite me with Tony Romo because they couldn't win the playoffs, man. And that's a disappointment, bro. You don't have that quarterback where can take you worry. You go into a big game and you're like, oh fuck, just waiting for Dak to fuck it up, right? Sorry, goddamn. But it you should really beep beep beep. There's too many beeps, right? You'll be there all night. Uh, but the whole point is that you don't feel like, oh man, we're going to this big game and Dak's gonna win it for us. You worry. You're sitting on the edge of your seat, waiting for something to happen. That's how I feel as a Cowboy fan. We're waiting for Dak to mess up. We're waiting for something stupid, right?
Yeah.
And that sucks. You don't. And I'm saying that. Oh, I feel the same. Cooper Rush, I love the guy. No, not at all. Not at all. I think you never know, right? I mean, look at Tony Romo. Unfortunately, we talked about Bledsoe early. Same concept, right? Uh, Brady and Romo both got their opportunities because of a Bledsoe injury, but you don't. And he came from what, Eastern Illinois,
Hmm.
low pick also.
Oh, I thought Romo was
He didn't
undrafted.
get picked. Yeah, he was undrafted. He was
Yeah.
on the bus with Jason Witten. Um, so yeah, man, you're just waiting. So no, I don't love Dak Prescott. And if Cooper Rush right now is the hot hand and he's doing something for us, why go away from it, man? I mean, look at Dak Prescott's before he hurt his hand. He wasn't playing great that game, bro. And a lot of people are saying because a lot of the Cowboy starters did not get preseason time. I think that makes a difference as well. But
Hmm.
we'll see. We'll see.
So
I
so two points. One is if you look at Cooper Rush, right? Um, First of all, 3 wins. Dallas loves you, right? Because he's 3-0. Which I think if I told you that the backup quarterback was going to play 3 games and go 3-0, you'd be like, "We're in the Super Bowl, yay!" Um, Dak did. He threw, was 14 of 29 that first game, 48% completion percentage. However, over his career, Cooper Rush has thrown 60% of the ball, 7.2 yards per attempt. Dak averages 66% completion, 7.8. Is the difference between what Cooper Rush makes, which I'm going to guess is around $1.50, and what you're paying Dak, which I'm guessing is what, $20 million a year? Is it worth it? That's the question.
Mm.
And if you get a Patrick Mahomes that comes out on the first game and says, "You got rid of my best wide receiver, I'm still the greatest guy in the world," and throws 5 touchdown passes, or an Aaron Rodgers, you can put that kind of investment out. If you have a middling quarterback or a high end quarterback, see what's funny to me is the Cowboys, you got Aikman number one. Since then, you haven't done that again, like where you're picking a high drafted quarterback. You're picking these undrafted guys who are winning competitions and taking over roles, right? And so it was Tony Romo. Then you had Dak Prescott. Oh, he's different. Well, no, he's the same. He's just 10 years younger, right? Now you get Cooper Rush. Do you think Cooper? I mean, and again, stranger things have happened. You had Kurt Warner stocking shelves, and then he's winning the Super Bowl. But as a general rule, you don't have the draft capital and a quarterback. Now, if you want to go with Cooper Rush and pay him absolutely nothing for the next 3 or 4 years and build a superstar team and have a window of opportunity like the Seahawks where you can drag anybody through, or the Ravens and just drag anyone through with a superior defense and a pretty good offense, okay. But you kind of have to make up your mind. There are only a handful of superstar quarterbacks that they can carry the team to the Super Bowl. So it is what it is. I think it's interesting because when I looked at Cooper Rush, and this is I guess what's neat about NFL teams, they're all superior. They're all really good players. You forget about that. Like everyone's like, oh, no, these are all superstar athletes and they're really good. And they, even the backup quarterback can wing the ball 60 yards down the field on a rope. So to me, it's amazing. Again, it's only been 4 games, but he's averaging, that's not terrible. 60% if you told me a rookie quarterback was going to throw 60%, 7.2 yards per throw, and basically a touchdown every game with no picks, I'd be like, well, that's not terrible, right? Zeke, you're so definitely you're overpaying for Prescott. You're way overpaying for Zeke. Like he's not the best running back on his own team. Like Zeke's averaging 3.8. You basically you're falling forward at that point where Pollard's 4.5, which ain't great, but it's better than 3.8. They should be reversing the roles. I mean, he's just not doing it. So with all that being said, you're gonna pick the Cowboys. I'm gonna look up here and I'm gonna find out the Rams, which one thing about the Rams, it is amazing to me watching that offense because it is throw to Cooper Rush and throw to Tyler Higbee. So if you're the defensive coordinator for the Cowboys, if you cover those two guys, you are squared. They are one of the bottom offenses in the league, which amazes me for Stafford. And maybe it's I won the Super Bowl. What else is there? The Cowboys are a couple rings up, so you guys are both in the bottom half of the league. Really, it's a coin flip on offense. On defense, the Cowboys defense is better than the Rams by a decent amount. I think the Rams. I feel the Rams are a better team, but I'm agreeing with you. I think the Cowboys are going to win. The stats have said the Cowboys are going to win.
The boys. Yep, Cowboys all the way.
And
I didn't even get into the Rams.
If you had told me this beginning of this week one that Cooper Rush was playing against the Rams, and this week I would have been like, oh, it's the Rams. So good for him. Sorry, what did you say? Want to say about the Rams?
Oh, I didn't even get into the Rams, but it's okay. I don't really need to. Stafford's got some good yards, but again, Stafford, man, can launch the ball. I mean, 70% completion, great. Henderson, the running back, the running game's like, yeah. He's got Cooper Cup, but I'm telling you, man, Diggs all day long. The
Well,
Dallas
what I
defense,
was
smart,
amazed
smart.
is the amount for a veteran quarterback, the amount of locked in to Cup. He's not looking at anybody else. In fact, my son made a joke. He's like, the guy getting the ball, his first name has to be Cooper, his last name has to be Rush or Cup. And like that's all. Only one
All
getting
they
the ball.
have,
Like,
bro.
no, man, come on. Robinson's had much worse quarterbacks. You can't tell me that. So, I mean, he played with Fields and got 1,000 yards. No, he's not. Um, but he's locking in. Like you can see him like and I maybe it's a Super Bowl, like how they won the Super Bowl with just locking in on him on that final drive. But he is it's going to Cooper Cup, and at at some point, if you're only throwing to two guys on offense, it's really easy to stop, especially when you don't have a running game. So I am actually going with the Cowboys.
Yeah, well, the boys.
Next up, our Lilliputian team host the Philadelphia Eagles.
Is it Oompa Loompa time?
Oompa Loompa time.
Oompa Loompa. Anyways, this is gonna be a good game. Eh, man. Ugh. All right. The reason I'm because you know I don't want to talk about an NFC East team, and it's the Eagles. Oh, I hate the Eagles. I really do. I'm an NFC East guy, Cowboys, so I hate it. But if you look at these two teams, obviously the Eagles look better. The offense is cracking. Their defense isn't all that great. I think that's where they're hurting the most, in my opinion. But their offense is definitely cracking. I'm still not big on it. I don't know why. I know Hurts is gonna make me look stupid. Um, he's looking good, I guess. 1,100 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 picks. Not a lot of touchdowns, but he's looking good. He can move. He's got wheels. He's got 4 touchdowns rushing. Sanders, running back, has 356 yards with 3 touchdowns. Between them, they have 260 or 561 yards and 7 touchdowns. That's a lot. Receiving wise, Brown's a great receiver. Smith looks like he's coming up. They look like a good team, man. They really do, and they've been playing very well. Obviously, they're going to get that ass beat when they play the Cowboys, though. That's a given. But in this game, on the other flip side of it, you got the little people army with the little people general. I mean, he's 991, 5 touchdowns, 2 picks. Connor is the running game is not very well, non-existent. Mr. 50-50 is catching touchdowns. The next receiver is George, who's never really been shit and still isn't. I just don't see how the Cardinals beat the Eagles in this game. I know little people can run and so on and so forth. The only problem here, honestly, the only edge that damn bug flying around. The only well, it was flying around. Now it's splattered all over my shirt. Whatever that was. Looked like a spider, to be honest. Shit. So, long story short, the Eagles are better offensively, whereas the Cardinals' defense to me is middle of the road. The Eagles' defense is not great, so it could be I think this game is closer than people are going to think. I think it's going to be decided by a touchdown, to be honest. I think it'll be a good back and forth game, but end of the day, I think the Eagles' offense is too much for the Cardinals. I think Hurts is very hard to stop on the ground. Obviously, look at his touchdowns. He's got 4 touchdowns on the ground, man. So once they get in that red zone, they're letting him loose. It's very hard to stop, man. It really is with a running back running back. Well, yeah, running back. I want to call it that. Quarterback like that. So I think it'll be too much for the Cardinals. I don't think the Cardinals defense has what it takes to stop them, and the Eagles take this one as much as it don't want to say it.
Yeah, having watched him, he was not good throwing the ball. He was really good at these crazy running plays that you didn't expect and on a down and distance you didn't expect. That's what I mean. He turned some, I guess, second and forevers into third and manageable, as well as in the red zone. They let him go. Um, I've said it. The the Cardinals have lost too many players on offense, and losing Hopkins. Um, that offense changes with Hopkins in the lineup. I can't wait to see. Hopefully, he's running on his own and ready to go because I can't wait to see that. Having him in every league that I own. Um, so he better damn sure well come in week 7. Um, from a statistical perspective, the Cardinals are behind the Eagles in both offense and defense. And you said that the Eagles' defense isn't very good, but they're third in the league in yardage. They've only given up 1,109 um, and only 177 in the air. So they're a little susceptible to the running game, which means little people might have a big day. Um, on offense, the Eagles are second. 270 on the air, 165. They chew you up on the ground. Whereas the Cardinals are 230 on the air, 112 on the ground. So stats say the Eagles are going to win. It's easier. It's easier this way.
Everybody makes shitty picks every now and then. You do too. Just kidding. It's the Eagles. The Eagles.
2 more to go.
Yeah.
You got the Bengals versus the Ravens.
This is going to be a good game. Believe it or not. You would think Lamar is going to kill him. This game, to me, is going to have some back and forth, man. Look, Lamar is Lamar. If you want to beat Baltimore, you've got to stop Lamar from running the ball. Yes, he can pass now too, man, but makes him so dangerous isn't the fact that he can pass now too. What makes him so dangerous is his feet, bro. So this guy's, I'm gonna run. No, I'm not gonna throw him. Shit like that is what kills you, man. He's just so dynamic, so great, so awesome. I get it. But Lamar, to me, and this is just my opinion, is inconsistent, man. He's a good game, bad game, right? Then he goes on these little weird bad game streaks, then good game. I'm not sure why he's inconsistent. Maybe it's he doesn't prep well. Quarterbacks have to study. They got to do film. They got to do that. I don't see Lamar being that guy. I think Lamar is like sheer talent, sheer will. I don't need to study. What's his name from Oakland? What's that damn quarterback's name?
Jamarcus Russell.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, Lamar is very talented. I just think he has lazy tendencies. There's no proof to that, right? But he just sometimes you see him playing, it's like, all right, man, this guy had no game plan. He's just out there with his sheer talent and killing people. And it happens, but it's still Lamar, right? You want to beat him, you got to stop him. Now, on the flip side of that, Joe Burrow, man, I'm waiting for Joe Burrow. He's coming, bro. Look, his yardage is there. He's had a few mess ups, right? Cowboys killed him, but he's coming. When Joe Burrow gets to where he needs to be this season, he is going to tear some ass up, bro. It's going to be ugly. I think this game's going to go back and forth. I know there's no real stats behind it right now that I'm giving you, but I don't know, man. I just think that a guy like Burrow, bro, is a freaking winner, bro. All right, he plays like a winner. He's a winner. He elevates his damn team. That was another little flying bug. That's weird. He elevates his team. Well, I don't have bugs in my house now. I do. There's 2 little flying they're mosquitoes or something. So look, Mixon, not a bad running back, hasn't been doing great. Burrows is a great quarterback, and he will shine. He's got great receivers to throw to, right? On the flip side of that, you look at Jackson. Jackson is the best running back on that team, period. He's got Andrews, really, that's the best he has, and Bateman, but his receiver, he has 893 yards, 11 touchdowns, and 4 picks is great. But all that, I guarantee you, is at short distances, right? Maybe a couple big bombs here, but again, the quarterback situation to me is even because I think they're both great quarterbacks. I just think Joe Burrow's leadership is different. When I watch the Ravens, I just get this feeling that like, yeah, he kills it, bro, and then he gets in the locker room and people are like, yeah, fuck that guy, right? Like, ugh. He doesn't seem like the leader. He just seems like that. Look, I've coached a long time. Sometimes you get kids, man, that are great athletes, but their attitude is shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And other players don't want to be around them. Yeah, they're winning, so nobody's saying shit because he's a weapon and we're using him and we're winning. I think Lamar is the same way, man. I don't think he's a team guy, and I think that eventually that team that kind of drama, that kind of everything, starts kind of imploding, I guess. Will that happen now? It's still too soon for that to happen. Lamar's an animal, and you got to stop him. But we'll see. Just look at Lamar when he scores touchdowns, bro. That's what you got to look at. Look at how much celebrating he does with his team. He doesn't, man. So, anyways, long story short, because that was pretty long freaking winded, I know. This is going to be a good game. And I personally think that the Ravens cannot stop Lamar, and he's going to kill him, and Lamar wins. I don't want to choose against the Ravens, but I'm going against Cincinnati, but I'm going with the Ravens. With absolutely zero fucking details, stats, or anything else. That was a lot of words for no information. Good job, me.
River goes with the gut pick. So statistically, looking at offense, you're gonna find that the Ravens are a little higher rated than the Bengals. The Ravens are averaging 359 yards, whereas the Bengals are averaging 346. Um, the split, it's a lot more on the ground. 142 on the ground, 217 in the air. Bengals 250 in the air, 89 on the ground. So obviously the Bengals aren't running; they're throwing the ball, right? Whereas the Ravens have the quarterback, running back, um, who hits you with a big play every now and then. The telling thing is on the defense. The Bengals are a middle of the pack defense this year. They're giving up no rushing yards. It's 85 a game. They're giving up about 250 passing yards. The Ravens are one of the worst teams in the league. They're giving up 425 yards a game, 315 in the air, 110 on the ground. The Achilles heel of the Bengals is their offensive line. If you can apply pressure, you can get them. That's not what the Ravens can do. This defense isn't the old Ravens defense of the past. In fact, it's not even a decent Ravens defense. This one looks to be bad. If you can't get pressure to Burrow, he's going to eat you alive. And the Bengals defense can actually stop the run, which means the Bengals statistically should win.
Well, remember something though. The Bengals offensive line couldn't stop my grandma from blitzing and tackling Burrow. So yeah, the Ravens. You know I'm not wrong.
The Bengals.
You know I'm not wrong. Grandma against the Bengals gets 4 tackles, four sacks, 4.5. She'll let somebody else up on
one. Warty's down for the count. Grandma looks like Joey Bosa. The Real Housewives. We got the last game as the Raiders and the Chiefs.
This game, honestly, is not going to be as good as people think. I don't think anybody does. I think the Chiefs are hard to beat, bro. You already know that. I don't think the Raiders have the team to beat the Chiefs. Carr's like, I don't know, man. Carr's the other guy that you don't want in big games. He's the other guy that you're not even waiting for shit to happen. You're just like, you know it's going to happen. Like, all right, it's 3 minutes into the second quarter. He's throwing a pick. Like, he's doing something stupid. I'm not a big Carr fan. I think he has his moments, but is he that championship quarterback you want on your team? You know he's not. No, he's better than other guys, so that's why he's there, right? Al Davis Jr. I guess doesn't want to spend money on a real quarterback. They brought in a weapon, Devontae Adams, who hasn't lived up to the hype in my opinion, right? He has 290 with 3 touchdowns. When is the Devontae Adams from Green Bay Packers coming out? It's not unless you bring Aaron Rodgers over to the Raiders and let him throw Devontae Adams the ball. It's different. It's gonna be different. Jacob had a blow up game where I mean, did you start him, bro? Don't you have him? I mean, that would be a tons of points.
I don't want to talk
Might
about
even,
this.
well, I'm gonna tell you something. I also have Jacobs, I think, on our VX9 league, and I did not start him, and I lost because of that.
I also did not start him in the money league, which I lost by 2 points.
Well, money league's worse than VX9 league, I'll tell you. So you fucked up.
Yep.
All right. So anyway,
did I? Because you know what he did the first 3 weeks is nada. So.
Correct. But you're supposed to know.
Oh yeah, I know when he breaks out for 30 points a game. Yeah.
All these things. What kind of fantasy manager are you? So, anyways, Kansas City's a little too much for the Raiders. I think. I think. How do you stop Mahomes, bro? You just don't. You don't stop Mahomes. You just gotta like hope you contain Mahomes, right? 1,100 yards, 11 touchdowns, 2 picks. Come on now. You think the Raiders are the team that's going to stop Mahomes? Hell no. And Clyde Kaller, whatever his name is, look, he's not the running back that everyone was so hyped about his rookie year. I don't know that he ever will be. I think he's in place because do you really need a fantabulous running back when you have Patrick Mahomes? You really don't. So on the flip side of that, the Raiders don't have much. Jacobs isn't going to blow up against the Chiefs, although the Chiefs defense isn't like, oh my God, the greatest, but they're not bad. I just don't see how the Raiders beat the Chiefs. If you go into a shootout, who else do you want in a shootout other than Mahomes, right? But yeah,
Josh
too much
Allen.
Mahomes. Too much, yeah, really. Too much Mahomes for the Raiders, so I'm going with the Chiefs.
Fifth best offense, the Chiefs. 384 yards in the air. Does it even matter on the ground? 117 on the ground. The Raiders are going 350 in the air, 113 on the ground. Most of it was last week. Thanks, Josh Jacobs. Defensively, can't find them.
Well, that's great.
Oh, they're there. Defensively, middle of the pack for the Chiefs. 329, 260 in the air. And our Raider friends are 10 ranks below that. 357 in the air, 357 total, 253 in the air, 103 on the ground. Statistically, the Chiefs are above in both. This is an AFC West game. It's probably going to be tight. The Raiders do have a habit of coming to Kansas City and beating them. Because, obviously they're getting it for the team. Statistically says the Chiefs should win. I think the Chiefs are going to win. I would love for Mahomes to go nuts. So that's my pick.
We ended with such a good bang.
Yeah, we did.
Oh yeah, Mahomes.
Well, I mean, but you said it on the Raiders side, right? It's you got in a game where you have elite athletes that are similar stature on both sides. There are certain people that are transcendent, and Mahomes is one of those guys. Like, he's one of those guys. I think he's on the short list of people that can take a mediocre team or an average team to the playoffs and an average team or a good team to the Super Bowl. It's him, it's Brady. I mean, there's a short list of people that do that. You see with Carr, like you gave him, and then you really find out when you surround those great, what you think are, that people talk about surrounding your quarterbacks with talent. And what I've noticed is you get a guy like Brady. When you give him the Ferrari, what does he do? He drives the shit out of that thing. You gave him Moss, what did he do? He set the franchise record for passing touchdowns. Was hitting 50 a year. That's what he does. When you give Carr the Ferrari, what does he do? The first game he throws nothing but the Ferrari. And then after that, he doesn't throw the Ferrari at all. Like, that's not how you use them. So, I think he is one of the best receivers in the league, but I think that Carr is obviously not the answer. So, throw in the fact that their offensive line is still bad. It doesn't help anything. So that's what I think.
I'm not disagreeing.
Any last thoughts?
No, bro. I think that's it. I think the NFL this week is going to be a good one. There's some. I mean, if you had to choose a game of the week, honestly, maybe the Baltimore Cincinnati game, in my opinion. That's one I would actually watch. Other than that, I mean,
User
you
joined your
look at the
channel.
teams that are playing. I'm like, what game do I really, really want to watch that really is going to excite me? And there isn't one, man. Other than, like I said,
Seahawks Saints.
other than the Baltimore
Can
Cincinnati.
I
game.
kick the new user that just jumped in
Seahawks?
and said
The
Seahawks?
who's in that what?
Seahawks and Saints.
Who are they?
Yeah, these are on. I mean, on paper, you kind of see David and Goliaths across the board. I think the Cards Eagles is probably the second one I'd watch.
Maybe. You know what game I really wouldn't watch? The Seahawks and Saints.
I just got 2 monitors vertically hung, so I now have two 34-inch widescreens, one on top of the other. So suck it.
There you go, Seahawks and Saints, boy.
Yeah.
Seahawks, Saints.
All right, great week, great talk, great picks. Hopefully you missed them all.
Thanks. Hey, Striker, ask me how many right I had last week, and then ask Warty the same thing.